Again, good afternoon and welcome back. We're going to start just a couple minutes early because we got another large program for today. At this time, I would like to call up Mac Aldridge to introduce our guests.
And again, it is a bright and gracious good day in Manatee County. I know some of you in other parts of this area have gotten a little bit more rain than the rest of us, but on my side of town, I'm glad it's here. So thank you for providing the rain. We do have a number of guests with us today. First of all, of course, we're going to recognize later on our young people from Braden River Elementary, from the K Kids, and we'll let Judge Nicholas do that when he gets up here. We also have with us, no relation to our Good Scout Award dinner awardee, but we have Daryl and Sue Shin here. If they'd please stand. I understand they've been here a couple times before trying to find the elusive Byron, so maybe, Chrissy, you could have him come sometime. We also have Roger Dummy.
Hey, Roger. Hey, Roger.
And Major Leckie. We have someone related to our long-lost brethren, Ronny Grubs. Would you introduce your guest for us? Would you introduce your guest? Okay, I'll let you do it. Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad Ronnie's back with us. Zoe Mercer. Hey, Zoe. Judge Gilbert's got a guest, Renee Inman. Been here a couple times before. We also have Jessica Maxon Beamer, who is with, and we also have Mike Baer from Dex Imaging. Hi, thank you. Yes. I don't know. Okay. They didn't say.
Y'all are members of the Anna Maria Club, right? So you're doing your interclub today? Okay, let's welcome the Anna Maria Club. At this time, I'd like to call up Tom Mosley for our video of the week.
All right, so now to the video of the week.
Fair traffic control news. Here's the story you've all been waiting for. Out of Missoula, Montana. Stay with me. Barren tree plus trampoline times tranquilizer gun equals comedy.
And that's our video of the week.
Okay, a couple more announcements you may have seen on the video board. Today, or this week, is National Law Enforcement Week. and the National Salvation Army Week. So for those organizations, and I know we do have police officers in our mix, so we appreciate their dedication along with those who volunteer with the Salvation Army. Again, welcome back, Ronny Grubs. We're glad to see you. Glad to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
At this time, I'd like to call up a new member for her orientation, Valerie Viens.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Valerie Viens, the director of Manatee Technical College, and I would just like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am married and I have 2 adult children, and I'm going to be a grandma in September. Yay! Also, just a little bit about my background before getting to where I am today is I started out teaching as a teacher back in the 1990s, taught over on the other coast. I was a chemistry teacher, and my first year of teaching, I fell in love with the passion of serving the community and teaching our kids, and I actually got Sallie Mae Teacher of the Year for my first year. During that time when I got into education, I also worked at Lake Sumter Community College at the time, and I did some adult enrichment classes on healthy eating because I was a science major and taught chemistry and biology and all the fun sciences. As I was teaching, I felt like there's more I want to do, and I became a international consultant for career academies, and I just saw that the importance of education was really to prepare our students for the world of work and to help them find themselves and explore careers. And so I traveled nationally and articulated academies from high schools into post-secondary. I worked with the state of Utah and did wall-to-wall academy high schools at that time. And when I was teaching in the move to the center of the state, taught in Eustis, I established the first 9 career academy pathways that integrated studies and had academic teachers work with career and technical teachers to bring math to life, to bring science to life, and so forth. From then, I was so passionate about that I decided to do a few articles, and I wrote for the University of California, Berkeley, on how to schedule high schools to implement career academies, and I also was published for Creating a Culture of Success, making high schools reality into really preparing students for, again, the world of work. From there, my leadership experience here came into play while I was going through the Leadership Academy and came here, and that was my aha moment about Kiwanis, and again, it was just part of my pathway of going into education. Also, let's see, part of the things that I did while I was an assistant principal on my way to the high school and college, I was awarded the Career Pathways Best Practice Award and the Careers Pathway for Culture of Success and Connecting to the Y Generation, and then ultimately became the National Career Academy Coalition Teacher of the Year in 2009. From there, I moved here to this county, and I was part of opening Braden River High School. I worked at Palmetto High School for a few years and introduced the 2 career academies that began in this county. One was in childcare and one was agriculture. Opened those career academies, and then when Braden River opened, we opened that as the first high school in the county that was wall-to-wall academies. Created all of those schedules where every student in the campus selected a major. And that kind of led me over to Manatee Technical College, which is all about careers. So I work really closely still with the high schools, articulating high school career and technical classes into the college courses, and then currently working with our post-secondary for translating our technical college certifications into college credits. So students can go to post-secondary education and transfer their credits for free when they take their industry certifications, working towards their associate's degree, and we're currently also working with USF to articulate credits into their business programs, into hospitality, and some of the other programs. Manatee Technical College has over 50 programs that we license or certify students into working. Everything is career in a year, so they come and we have a 90% job placement rate for our students when they finish with their certification or their license. And it's my passion. If you can't tell, I love what I do, and I probably went over my time limit, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Another great leader out of Leadership Manatee, and we're glad she came to our county. At this time, I'd like to call up Sharon Barhorst for her members' moment.
Good afternoon. Ray and my husband and I moved to Bradenton, Florida in 1997, and we both worked for Tyler Technologies and installed the software in Manatee County Property Appraiser's office. Charlie Hackney, I don't know if he's here today, told me about Kiwanis. He told me about this wonderful group. I looked through the list of new member obligations and saw, wow, I have to ring the bell for the Salvation Army. Can I do that? I felt a little apprehensive about it, but I started to go through the whole process of becoming a member of Bradenton Kiwanis. And it's been an amazing relationship with me and the club. I enjoyed the Christmas tree selling, the Better Manatee Day. I love that Dave Bassett created this many years ago. What a way to give back to our community. The fishing tournament, a community-wide project where you get to see young kids go out and fish and even catch a rockfish, for those of you that didn't. Who could forget the Kids Against Hunger packing event, a great volunteer project. I don't like the hairnets. I don't know about anybody else. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. Christmas in August. This was Tom Mosley's big project when he was president. Here we served many, many homeless children for 10 years? Almost 10 years. How could we ever forget the first one, Tom, where I didn't know we were going to make it. It was a Christmas miracle. We got it done in time. Every Child a Reader. Those of you that read Gruffalo, what a fun book that was. Everyone could really use a hug from a little pre-K child as part of giving your 30 minutes back to the club. The Big K Youth Mentoring Community Program, Schools Plus Success. This year I had a little named Samaje at Rogers Garden where we went into the Boys and Girls After School program. He proved to me that I am not smarter than a third grader in math. He did make my Monday afternoon very, very special. And if you're really looking for a long-term way to make an impact in our club, please think about being part of our Big K Youth program. The club members that have really been instrumental to me and have helped me so much through this Kiwanis year are Jane Coker, Lori Fox, and Alex Gardner in the Bradenton Kiwanis Satellite Club. Thank you so much to all of you. They worked countless hours on the Habitat Resource Spaces. It was just an amazing event, and that's really what Bradenton Kiwanis is all about. I'd like to thank all the Bradenton Kiwanis for always being there for Manatee County and really making my life better as a resident here in our community. Thank you all.
Okay, like Sharon said, we did participate in the Jerry Hill 33rd Annual Memorial Fishing Tournament this past weekend. Richard Brooks, Rita Smith, Mac Aldridge, Lee Washington, Christy Cardillo, and myself were all there. And yes, they did catch oysters from the bottom of the river. So, but there was a lot of things caught, and a shark. So almost 250 kids. So it looks like it might be getting bigger. Okay, don't forget tomorrow there's a board meeting at Pier 22 at noon for all new members. You're required to attend one. If you wish to attend, please see Dave Grantham over here at my table. Leadership Manatee applications. You've missed the early application period, but you still have time to get them in by 5 p.m. on May 24th. Don't forget Kiwanis Family Fun Day. We have 18 going to the game. The deadline for getting tickets is the 28th. At this time, I'd like to call up Judge Ed Nicholas to introduce our K-Kids.
All right, so we've heard some amazing K-Kids clubs over the course of this year. I think we've saved the best for last. This is a really terrific group. You're going to have to help me out, Brett. So we had the diaper dump where we encourage people to bring diapers for needy families, etc. And the Braden River K-Kids collected...
No, they're supposed to tell you.
Oh, okay, they'll tell us.
So just ask them how many they collected.
Right. How many did our club collect?
Not as much as they did.
Like a fraction of what these kids collected. They did an amazing job. I don't know if they stole from their baby brothers and sisters. Don't admit it to the judge if you did. But they were really a terrific group. They've really embraced the idea of giving back to the community. You know, we've heard about K-Kids going to nursing homes and doing collars for guide dogs and just all the good works throughout the community. But this is really a special group. I think we've saved the best for last. I'd like to thank the advisors who are amazing teachers and amazing role models. Michelle Zeppa is where is she? Please give her a warm Kiwanis thank you. She's done an amazing job. She reached out to me a couple of years ago and said, we've got kids with amazing hearts here, and I've heard about what the K-Kids do. We'd like to start one. So she's largely responsible for the fact that there's a K-Kids out at Braden River. But I'd also like to thank Ms. France and Ms. Collins for their work. Thank you very much for everything that you do. And finally, I'm going to ask Jesse Alexis, the Vice President, and Avery Falk, the Treasurer, to come forward and give us a little bit of information about what you've been up to this year. And look how dapper all these students are.
Hold on. Ready?
Hi, I'm Avery, and I'm the treasurer of the VRE K-Kids. I'm taking the place of the president who couldn't make it today.
And hi, my name is Jessie, and I am the vice president.
First, we want to thank everyone who organized this amazing lunch for the VRE K-Kids.
We are here today to talk about the activities we have done to help our community.
We have made puppy collars for the southeastern guide dogs out of paracord.
Also, we have made Christmas cards for the local military veterans.
One more time, or two more times, right?
Another service project we have done this year is sweet cases.
Sweet cases are duffel bags that are given to foster children.
We have done many more service projects, but our most successful one is the diaper drive.
In the diaper drive, our school was inspired to raise diapers for the Solve Homes. So that's why we raised over 9,000 diapers.
Ready?
Again, thank you for this amazing luncheon experience at the Kiwanis Hall.
Thank you.
Okay, don't go. Okay, so they had a pizza party that I promised the winner. But one thing that I did last week to give to Shiv Patel was a plaque. But I'm going to give you guys the first place trophy for the 2019 diaper drive. Here, hold on. Ready? There you go, guys.
Dr. Tinsworth said that speech was very uplifting, right, Brett?
Yes.
So let's have the K-Kids from Braden River rise, please, and let's give them a warm Kiwanis thank you and welcome.
Note to Mac, we might need to get a bigger stool. At this time, I'd like to call up Mike McCoy to introduce our guests for today.
I've actually been asked to improvise on this one. You don't know, Paul. These are disaster when I go off script, but today it's my welcome. It's good to see Ronnie here. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. I've known Paul for quite a while. He is absolutely a community advocate. He's an advocate of the young children in our community as well as the community as a whole. He's a fellow Kiwanian, past president of the Sunrise Club. He is currently serving in local government as vice chairman of the Manatee County Housing Finance Authority, the treasurer of the Manatee County Sheriff's Advisory Board, and in the community as a board member for the Police Athletic League and Manatee Education Foundation. There's other organizations, multiple organizations he's been chairman of, multiple organizations he's been past president of, and many, many other organizations that he's participated in. We'll probably see his footsteps over by the courthouse, and then where the guys like you get to put their feet after a while. He's just been so involved. He currently serves as the CEO of the Early Learning Coalition of Manatee County. He's been in that position since 2008. Prior to assuming the role as the CEO, he was appointed by the governor to be the chairman of that organization. So, one fun fact, Paul just completed his term as the Hearn for the Hernando de Soto Historical Society. So please give me a warm welcome. Give Paul a warm Kiwanis welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I hope you all didn't have that biography at each table, because I had no idea they were sending that in. And some of those organizations, it was before they had electric. I mean, they went way back. I was in real estate for 30 years, and I was involved in politics, and I didn't know anything about early learning and the Early Learning Coalition, and I'll refer to it as ELC. And when I was involved in politics, Jeb Bush actually created Early Learning Coalitions, and they were created to do subsidized childcare and the VPK program that he created in order to better our children, and things that the Department of Education weren't going real well, which we can all understand even back then. And what happened was there was a crisis here in Manatee County. The chairman of the board had resigned. He was governor appointed. He resigned, and the attorney for the organization, he resigned, and the paid director went on extended sick leave, and they didn't have enough board members to have a meeting. And so in my political career, which I'm no longer in politics, no one does what they say they're going to do, right, Bob? Oh, Bob's gone. So anyway, I became friends with Jeb Bush long time ago, and he introduced me to working for his brother at the White House in presidential advance for a year and a half. And this crisis occurred here in Manatee County, and so he told Charlie Crist that he should appoint me to the job. And so I came into the Early Learning Coalition not knowing anything about VPK, didn't know what it stood for, which is voluntary pre-kindergarten. It's outside the school system. It's for 4-year-olds. It's an entitlement. And I have a PowerPoint that my team put together. And do I just click this? Yep. Just, okay. I'm clicking right side.
Turn it on.
There you go. There you go. So let me catch up here. So when I arrived, and the only thing I want you to leave here with is I had no idea about a child's brain and how important early learning is. We've always put our money on the back end in college, and so this presentation will show you the difference that early learning makes. And if you leave with anything when you leave here, it would be that you really need to read and interact with children from birth to 5. So they have a lot of people that are paid a lot of money to figure out where our tax dollars go, and they have figured out that for every dollar you invest in a child that doesn't come from a home of wealth, poor children, that you get at least a $7 return. And when you count it up over his lifetime, it's like a $17 return as he grows older, or she grows older. Okay? You might have to come up here and help me every time. I might put you here. Just do, sorry about this.
It's okay, we'll figure it out.
That's why we always test things before we do them, right? Yeah.
Mac?
Okay.
It's locked. No, it's locked up.
So I'll continue. Oh, there you go. What am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Waiting too long?
I think,
Top one?
up there.
Okay, so go
Right
back.
side button.
All right. Okay. So if we don't spend money on children to help them read and do all the things that they do, I hate when people read PowerPoints. So the deal is that they're going to make a lot more money, and they're going to be a lot more, they're going to be smarter. And the goal is to get children to read on grade level by the 3rd grade. That PowerPoint won't tell you that, but by 3rd grade, if a child isn't reading where he should be, he's probably not, or she's probably not going to. If we don't spend the money on teaching children to read and to interact, the likelihood of all these things happening, it's fact. They go out to prisons and jails, and they find out why people are in jail. They find out their education, how they were raised, and the common denominator is that they had no one to do anything with them when they were little. This is all how the people in the books tell you how the money comes in. If you put it in at the little age, that by the time they get over here for a job, that they're educated. The point that I want to bring across to you, 90% of a child's brain, and this is what got me when I first got there 11 years ago, that 90% of your brain is developed by age 5. And so instead of worrying about putting money at the college level, we need to put it at the front end. And they finally figured that out up in government, and we are getting more money, and they're continuing to give us more money, and so that's a good thing. It just, everything from the birth to 5 makes the child what it's going to be when they get older. And I learned all these things, and you're learning them today. As you can see, people, and it says college educated, and they really don't mean that, because I'm sure all of us have had like a grandmother that maybe didn't go to college, but she knew how important it was to read to you. And when you go out to, in the old days before me, if you took a child to daycare, they put them in front of a TV set, and they thought that was, getting them ready for school. It's not the same as watching TV as it is to interact with another human, and they figured that out now. So you can see that poor families, 500 words, 1,200 words when you're from a family of influence. We do 3 things. We have Childcare, Resource, and Referral, which is mandated that if you call up anytime, we can give you every child care provider, whether we have a contract with them or not, in Manatee County, and we'll tell you when they're open, what child ages they take, and we can give you all the information about any child care in Manatee County. We're currently contracted with 167 child care centers in Manatee County. I had no idea back when I started that there was that many. There's about 130 VPK programs in those 167 places. Voluntary pre-kindergarten, they'll tell you a little bit more about that. This is the Resource and Referral, and I don't want to go over my time, so I'll make sure we get through all these. The voluntary, a lot of people think that this is for, you have to, income matters. It doesn't matter. It's an entitlement. It was in the, it was a constitutional amendment. So it's about $2,500, a little less than that per child when they're age 4, and you can take them and get 534 hours of child care during the school year, or you can get 300 hours in the summer. And what happens after they go through VPK, when they go to kindergarten, we now have a system where we can tell if VPK made a difference on the children and whether whether it didn't. And right now we have about 20% of Manatee County's children that don't go through VPK, and most of them are migrants. But we do have other families that don't know about VPK, so they don't give me any money to put the word out about the program because the state has to, it's an entitlement. So no matter how many kids I bring in, they got to pay for them. And so they have a tendency not to give me money to tell about the program. School readiness, I have a waiting list right now of a little less than 300. It's been as high as 1,300. We have gotten more money. The thing I like about this program is that you have to work. You can't just come in and say, I want you to take care of my children. You have to have a job, and you have to prove it to me, and you have to keep the job. And we do allow people that are in school to get into the program, but we don't advertise that at all because now with online courses, I know from myself that if I needed to do an online course, I could take care of my child and do an online course. But so the big thing is working. So you have to work to get the money. The big thing we do at the Early Learning Coalition is we do books, and the reading is so important. And thanks to this Kiwanis Club, you'll see in a few slides of how we've grown our reading program to we've surpassed most all other coalitions of our size, and we're like the model for the state. So we have so many different things that you're going to see here at the end, but the basics of it are that families need us to help them. The poor families need us to help them learn how to be a parent, be a father, be a mother, read to your children. We improve the child's care. When I first came here, they didn't have curriculums at the daycare centers, and so we have the authority not to pay child care providers if they don't do the things that we feel that are needed. So we have curriculums that we have a staff that goes out and makes sure that they're reading to the children. We have inclusion people to make sure that children that have disabilities or whatnot are not being left out and put over in a corner. We have compliance, we have health and safety. One of the things people don't realize is that the Department of Children and Families, if a child, say, would die, unfortunately, in a child care center, they would probably get fined and they wouldn't lose their license. What we do is if there's an issue, we can take their contract away and take the money away from them. So we can do more than the Department of Children and Families as far as stopping some of the egregious consequences that some of these child care providers, by leaving children loose and they go out in traffic. And we've had several, I'd say we probably took out probably 20 child care providers in the last 5-6 years by canceling their contracts, whereas the Department of Children and Families, they're overburdened and they're understaffed, and so they can't do that. But we take up the slack on our end on the contracts. This is low. Right now, we're a $22 million agency. All the coalitions in the state are a $1.5 billion taxpayer and paid for program. In Manatee County, our $22 million, I don't know where they get this unless it's by the month, because it's up to about $80 million because we allow people to work and we pay child care providers, and we're kind of unique. We're only allowed to spend 5% of our money on admin, and sometimes you give to nonprofits, and a lot of it's the pay for the people like me and for all the glitz and glory. And so we're tied to 5% maximum on administrative costs. So all the money, 78%, goes directly to the child care providers, and then the rest of it is direct services for programs and for curriculum and other things like that. So we are very lean. I won't bother you with all this. We do trainings all the time. We do Red Cross trainings. We do, they're called, there's a lot of acronyms in early learning, and every couple years someone else comes up with a new idea of how things should go and how what programs we should do. And so now we're able to track our programs, and we can see what works and what doesn't work. So that's helping us. But a lot of benefits to our child. I don't know if any of you are in child care. It's a very tough business, and that says it all. It's a very tough business. School readiness, we have about 2,700. Wait list, that figure, it's gone down from the 300, so that's a good thing. A critical nation's economic future. Just so you can see which ones we can take out of here. And just to give me credit, I haven't seen this presentation before. So this is our mobile outreach vehicle, and you hear a lot about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. We added art to it, and this is our mobile outreach vehicle. And with your money that you gave us, and for you members that might not know, and the kids here, this club gave Early Learning $20,000 to outfit a school bus that I got donated by the school board. And so the school bus will look similar to this on the inside, but we have it now having it fitted with air conditioners and a generator, and we will take it out, and it will do the same thing as this steam machine does, but it's probably the best dollar for dollar the best investment we've made as far as outreach, going out to different events and going to the child care providers and going to the schools. And as you know, our school system is having some issues, and so I'm going to a meeting after this where they have designated the 10 schools that need the most help, and then they've designated the top 2 schools, and you'll probably read about it if you read the paper later tonight. They've designated Palm View and Samoset, I believe, as the 2 most needy schools, and so our bus will go out there and with your help, and it will do programs right there on the spot. This is the Kiwanis bus from Sunrise that they paid for themselves, and they wanted to keep it. And so what we did is we paid to have it wrapped, and we matched it with our steam machine. So this is the Sunrise Kiwanis bus, which yours is a little bit bigger than this. And but it'll look basically the same, and your logo and everything will be on it for helping us with the financing of the interior. Also, we are in negotiations with utilizing Sunrise's bus because we would like to take it out and do more with it. And right now, with the club is not that large, as you know, and it's hard to get people to drive buses. And I didn't realize there was so much in it to do about driving a bus, but there's a lot. Every Child a Reader is your program. It's grown tremendously each year. I think you all put about $5,000 into it. We match that easily. We actually buy truckloads of books, and we get them. We get an in-kind donation of about $370,000 worth of books each year. So we give them out to tons and tons of programs, thanks to your help. And then I read, and I'm sure a lot of you go and read, and the children just love seeing someone different read to them. More pictures of Every Child a Reader. Deputy Friendly, a new program. I send deputies out, or the sheriff and I came to an agreement. We send deputies out to read to children in uniform, and this helps the poor children see that people in uniform are not bad people, because a lot of them think that. And so they read, they get a book, and it's very similar to your all's reading program, but they do it on a weekly basis. And I believe we have 41 different places that deputies go each week. And so that's grown into officer friendly, and now it's gone into fireman friendly. And so we're looking at all the different jobs people have, but those 3 are the big ones right now. And there's the old sheriff, Stubbe, and their new sheriff, Mr. Wells. And that's it. What I wanted to show you was, we also do, if you didn't know, Next Gen magazine. And Next Gen not only brings us in about $35,000 to $40,000 per issue in advertising a funding stream, but it also helps us let other organizations such as Kiwanis get their word out. And I think, Judge, didn't you get a couple new K clubs out of this? 3 of them. So we have someone in it in every issue that's beyond generous, and that's someone that usually a nonprofit that gives to children. And then we have Executively Speaking, and that's usually an executive in our community that has done things philanthropic. And then we have a restaurant, and we have Kids in the Kitchen. And but basically what we do is we try to get the word out to all these other nonprofits that help children. So this is getting ready to be syndicated in other parts of the state, and we're very proud of it, and we hope it helped your club, and I'll take any questions. And I'm sorry, this is my first slideshow presentation that I've done, and I knew I could talk among friends here. I've been a Kiwanian for 30 years. Russ Kitching brought me into Kiwanis. He started me down my road in a lot of other organizations, and I see a lot of familiar faces. And is there any questions? I must have done a fabulous job. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your donation, and anything we can do for you, please let us know. This week's cover is our new county administrator, Sherry Corrier, who we absolutely love, and I think she'll do a great job, and she's been a friend of children for my 11 years.
Paul, as you know, it's a tradition of the Braden Kiwanis Club, especially after you finish your speech, to give you the Kiwanis Golden Rule to help you measure the future success of the ELC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll get them over there.
You know, Paul talked about partnerships, and partnerships are so important, especially with our club. When they came to, ask for some money, and Judge Nicholas was on that committee, they pick out the most, they've got to go through a lot of applications, let's just put it that way, and narrow it down. And we know that the children in our community are needed, are the needs that they have. And with that, you can see all the great things that we do with the ELC and everybody else in this county. So first of all, let me thank the K-Kids from Braden River for being here. One last time, would you please stand up so we can give you another round of applause? Thank you very much. One thing I did learn when I went out to their meeting is this county continues to grow. They're getting new middle schools, they're getting new high schools, and guess what? Some of the students in this K-Kids program will be going to a new middle school that probably will not have a builders club. And that's one thing that we talked about yesterday in our executive meeting that we're going to have to get with the district to talk about, because you have these great kids that are moving on, but there's no Kiwanis program in those schools as of yet. Don't forget that if you're going to the Rays, you need to get your Rays ticket order in. Next thing, yes, Mac? Yes, we'll make sure that we get the kids, before you leave, if you come over and we'll get you a picture of you before you leave. And next week, we got a great program next week. We hope you attend. Please bring a friend. Tell them about Braden Kiwanis. To all our guests, thank you for being here. To the Anna Maria Club, thank you for being here. And we are adjourned.